Alrighty then. I guess you're curious, how does a microbiology degree end up in local government and politics? So here we go. But first of all, I just want to open up with a bit of pepeha, which is kia ora tātou, everyone. Ko rimutaka te maunga, ko te awa kairangi te awa, no kaunihira a rohe o otipote a hau. Ko Chin toko whānau, ko Garrett toko ingoa. Just want to acknowledge my whakapapa, where I came from, born and bred in Wellington and in Lower Hutt, and calling Otago my new home, which has been very much awesome. So it's been really cool. So I was reading a book the other day and came across this Whakatoki or Māori proverb. And it just really gives a bit of a flavour of my experience here at university and my transition into the Dunedin City Council, which is e hara taka toa, iti toa taka tahi, engari he toa taka tini. And that my strength is not mine alone, it comes from a collective. And it really hones down that a person's success is not achieved alone, but rather with the help, support with family, friends, and colleagues. And I guess going down reflection and everything, coming into university, I really had no idea what I wanted to get into. In fact, I had no desire to go into local government. I had no idea what local government was, to be honest. And I had no idea what I really wanted to really succeed or achieve in. And university for me was really an opportunity to try a whole bunch of different subjects, and it really was focused around the sciences, trying out physiology, genetics, and microbiology. And I guess the one science that really caught my heart was probably micro, where I did complete a Bachelor of Science with honours, and it was just really intriguing. I really found it really cool how microbes interacted with our human cells and how it caused disease, and how our bodies also fought against infection, which is so topical today in our world. But it wasn't long until I really gave the research field a try. But for me, I found it really, really challenging. For me, I really loved that regular lifestyle of interacting with the outside world and getting more outside of the laboratory scene. And found that a lot of my passions aligned more about sharing the science of microbiology and finding ways for communities to connect with the science and to really get involved about learning about this particular area. And so in 2015, I completed my honours degree. And I remember having coffee and lunch with my supervisor at the time, and we both discussed enrolling me into the Masters of Science Communication program here at the university. And again, I just found myself once again heading down a different direction and trying out something new, something different. And I guess in this program, it was great. I learned a variety of different ways to engage people with science. And just to name a few, like got involved in a bit of filmmaking, podcasting and radio, learning how to use social media effectively, crafting exhibitions and working with the Otago Museum website and designing that, and writing. There was just a whole repertoire of different ways to learn and how to engage people. So I guess in my job currently now, definitely using these techniques on a regular basis, or learning how to use a combination of these techniques for people in the communities to engage in local government projects. So went into Masters, finished it in 2017, and time to hit the big world and look for a job. And so I was looking for and job hunting for approximately 6 months in 2018, and found that science degrees opened up to a wide range of opportunities, especially here in Dunedin. It's pretty incredible where you can step into. And I was picked up by a recruitment company here in Dunedin to work as a communications advisor at the Otago Regional Council. And that's where I started focusing, communicating projects on policies around water irrigation and water quality. And it was actually quite a nice fit where I started incorporating some of that microbiology knowledge into that area. E. coli definitely showed up. So I worked for the Regional Council for about 5 months, and then I was then shoulder tapped and recommended to apply for a position at the Dunedin City Council. And so here we go. So I ended up starting and working in the Transport Department as an engagement and communications advisor, and worked on projects such as street design, George Street, I'm sure that's been a lot in the paper. Other major projects, cycling, infrastructure, and road safety projects. So again, such a brand new discipline and learning so many different areas about local government and other sciences and engineering concepts that I've never heard of. And in March this year, I applied for a new engagement and communications advisor role, where I now am focused in the work of climate change and coastal erosion and protection around South Dunedin, looking at how we can look after those sand dunes out in St Clair and St Kilda. So definitely a whole bunch of different paths that I went down. So for those that don't know what Dunedin City Council is, it comprises of a mayor and 14 councillors who are responsible for governance of the city, and they're elected 3 years, like the local elections, and obviously for central government, the elections coming up very shortly. And council is responsible for the governance of the city, as I said, and setting its future direction and our vision, which is to make Dunedin is one of the world's great small cities. And the council provides a wide range of services and facilities. And just to name a few, it involves transport, which you've probably heard from me, water services, infrastructure, economic development, community development, parks and recreation, policy. There's just so many different areas you can step into in council, which was quite eye-opening for me. So I can speak on the engagement role. And to be honest, my day-to-day varies quite a lot. But at the heart of it, the general tasks, I found that I really focused on creating and strategizing engagement and communications plans and looking at how we can communicate and spend time with the community effectively. This is a biggie, engaging with our local stakeholders, spending time and hearing the values of our local businesses and related projects, community groups, schools, and hearing what's important to them. Drafting content and looking at how we can use that content to fit into marketing material, posters, brochures, videos, all those kind of different mediums to engage people in science. So it definitely was one of the most challenging things, was coming from science communication, where I was doing a lot of the doing, to actually step back and say how I can be sort of that strategize kind of person and looking how these could fit together. So as I said, a lot of different projects have been involved in, but I can assure you that a lot of the skills, the bones, the foundations that I picked up from my science degrees, really, really important in how I operate and do my job today. So if you ever wanted to step into local government, a few tips that I would encourage you on would probably to get some experience on the wide range of communications and engagement techniques that are out there. Learning the tools, but also knowing how to use the tools for the right groups and for the right projects as well that you're communicating with. Knowing how to break down technical information for people to understand and connect with. As I said, these projects that I've been involved with have a lot of strong engineering and science concepts, and it can be quite difficult for the community to grasp. I've noticed this come up quite a bit now in applying for kind of my roles in local government and in central government as well, but specialised engagement certificate through an organisation called International Association for Public Participation, or IAP2. So they have a certificate in engagement, and it's some of those things that come up regularly on project descriptions, PDs, yeah, job descriptions actually. And massive here, experience in working with partnerships and stakeholders, working with mana whenua, working with iwi is so important, partnering with them, knowing how to work with community groups and other government organisations. Ministry of Primary Industries come up, NZTA, transport agency when I was working in transport. So there's so many different so many relationships that you just continue building. And so just want to do a little pitch there, like many councils also have lots of internship programs. I didn't do one personally. I focused a lot of my internship programs, one here at the university, and I did one with Bliss Technologies, which is a local, hold on, you should know Bliss, it's on the rugby games all the time, sorry. But yeah, Bliss Technologies. And but the councils do have internship programs that you can get involved in, get a nice sense of idea how projects are run in a local government setting. So yeah, I guess for me, when I was employed by council, I guess the two main things that caught my employer's eyes were probably one, bringing in that fresh ideas, that creativity into council. Science communication really set that up for me, learning all those different techniques. But I've always been challenged to think outside the box. And to think of unique, fun ways for people to engage with council projects. And so that was one of the core messages. Another one was having strong interpersonal skills are so valuable in this industry. I'm such a people person. You couldn't get me away from doing a public speaking event, to be honest, or getting me in a group of people and talking. But yeah, always constantly working with people, whether it's in project groups, whether you're working with project managers, other departments in council. There's, I don't even know how many, there's hundreds of staff in council that work, consultants, and getting that external expertise to guide projects, stakeholders, as I said before. But, I'm always finding myself constantly developing and building working relationships to achieve positive outcomes in what we do. But that, I could say that's transferable in any job that you would step into, because you can't escape working with people. That's just great. So I just want to finish by saying that if you're unsure about your direction, where you're heading, what you're studying, where your career is going, I just want to say it's okay. It's okay if you're, asking questions and not sure where you're going. As you can see, I've had a crazy pathway on my journey and my career, and even now today, I'm still figuring it out where I'm heading next or where I'm going. But it's just really enjoying what you are doing now, finding out the opportunities that are presented to you and making the most that are there. And I cannot say enough, just going back to that Whakatoki that I just mentioned before, but you've got an incredible resource here. I couldn't have done it with help from the Career Centre that you'll hear with Lindley very shortly. Had incredible support from my supervisor at microbiology at that time. Colleagues and friends that helped shape and guide what I was really passionate about. So all those relationships are so important, and I just really encourage you all to just make the most of the resources here. But thank you for having me and the opportunity to speak.